Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Lisa O'Connor. I am the chair of the Library and Information Science Department. And on behalf of myself and our faculty and staff, I welcome you here tonight. And if you're a graduate, I congratulate you. Tonight, you complete a journey, a wonderful journey, I'm sure, but a difficult one at times. I've been there, and I know there were times that you have forgone spending time, precious time with your families. You've not done something fun with friends. You've spent money on tuition and books that you could have spent elsewhere. You have sometimes forgone economic opportunities you could have taken. Sometimes you've even forgone sleep and peace along the way. I know it's been one of many sacrifices, but you have chosen a journey of learning instead of those things. And tonight that all comes to fruition for you, and we couldn't be prouder of you. Tonight you also begin a journey, and that is into one of the oldest professions in our country. It's a noble profession, one that was established to create equal access to all learning and cultural products to all people, regardless of their capacity to pay for these things. We have existed for a long time to protect intellectual freedom, to guarantee everyone's right to learn and inquire and read about any of the things that interest and compel them. And we still exist today to promote community and provide access to all the things that people need to have healthy, well fulfilled lives and to thrive in this digital age. We know each of you is going to take what you've learned today and go out into the world as warriors for intellectual freedom, for community, for knowledge, and for a more just world. And we're really excited to see what you all do from here. I congratulate each one of you on doing this, especially during a pandemic. What more difficult time could you do that? Today, someone in the university commencement said, if you can get a degree during the pandemic, you can do anything. So go forward and know that you've done the hard thing already. I would also like to acknowledge that there are people along the way that have helped and supported and guided you through this journey, and we all have much to be grateful for their efforts. I'd first like to recognize our faculty. The UNCG LIS faculty are really an exceptional and extraordinary group of people. I watch them every day work tirelessly to make sure that you are challenged, that you have a good learning experience, and that you're well prepared for this profession. And I tell you, I couldn't be prouder to work with these folks. And I give them my gratitude, and I know you do as well, for all that they've done for you over the time in your program. I also know that there are people in your lives who've made this possible. And I'd like to ask you, if you are one of these people, as I talk, to turn on your cameras and let us see you, because we'd like to give you a round of applause in the end. I know that you all, many of you have partners or spouses, significant others who have held your hand along the way and who have also made sacrifices with you. I know that you have family, some of you have children, your friends, some of us have frenemies who have all helped us along the way. So let's take a minute to just give them a round of applause for our gratitude for their efforts. I also want to say that today you join a new family. It's an old family. The program at UNCG LIS is the oldest program in North Carolina. We graduated, or we enrolled our first class in 1923, quite a long time ago. I don't know exactly how many, but since then we've graduated thousands of librarians. And I'm really proud to tell you that you're coming from a program of incredible quality. Our program is ranked number 23 in the nation. If you come out of the school library program, it's ranked 8th in the nation. And that speaks volumes about how much quality there is both in our faculty, but also in you, our students. We only let in the very best, and the fact that you are here with us says something extraordinary about you. So I would like for you to remember that we were here for your education, but that's not the end of it. We are here for you as you go into your careers, as you need advice, references, whatever else you need in your professional lives. We'll ask you to come back and take advantage of this family and use it to help you as you go through your career. I would also ask you to stay in touch with us. We want to know how you're doing. We want to know where you've gone, what you're up to. We like to use our social media to publicize and celebrate your accomplishments, because ultimately your accomplishments are family accomplishments. They're all our accomplishments, and we want to celebrate them with you. So please, I always hate saying this, but like us on Facebook, stay in touch via Twitter, Instagram, whatever your choice. Join the Alumni Association, buy t-shirts and wear them. In whatever ways you can, keep in touch with the program, because we really want to know how you're doing. So once again, I congratulate you, and I just convey how proud we are of to have you, and I welcome you all here tonight.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I would like to introduce you to Nick Bowden. He is our student speaker for today. Originally, he's from the fields of West Texas, of the West Texas desert, and he's lived and worked all over the world. He got his BS in computer science in 2006 and spent the next 13 years trying out different careers before somebody pointed out that he'd probably be a good librarian, which I agree with. Nick has always been a librarian at heart. The only thing that makes him happier than reading a great book is the feeling he gets when somebody else loves the book that he's recommended. He currently lives in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, with his wife and new cute little boy, just 3 months old. And he has actually, his next steps, he is enrolled in our 077 licensure for instructional technology. So we'll see him back here next semester. I would like for you to welcome Nick Bowden.
Hey, thank you. Yes, I'll be coming back. You can't get rid of me quite yet. All right, thank you for that introduction. Hello. As you can see behind me, I'm joining you from my vacation home in the Shire. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. It is a real honor. I'm not sure who made the decision to invite me, but I'm humbled and grateful. Originally, I had planned to tell a joke here about how you've probably made a terrible mistake inviting me to speak, but my wife convinced me not to do it because she said everybody would think I was serious. So, when I was asked to do this, I was told that I could talk about anything I wanted as long as I tried to make it inspiring. But I have no idea how to do that. I am, however, a librarian, which means that I can find inspiring speeches that other people have written, and I can tell you about them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do that later. First, I have some very important business. I don't claim to speak for anybody but myself, but I am very confident that I'm not alone when I say that this program has been a really wonderful experience. And I think it's important to thank the people who make that happen. So, Greg Hoffman, thank you for making classes magically appear when we're panicked about being on waiting lists. Lisa O'Connor, thanks for seemingly making all of the things happen. Nora Bird, thank you for basically knowing everything. Letitia Velez, thank you for showing me unexpected kindness and understanding when I was going through a difficult time. Noah Lenstra, thank you for blowing my mind with all of the things I never knew that libraries do. Colin Post, thank you for scaring me half to death over the thought of my metadata falling into the wrong hands. Also, I hear you just had a new baby as well, so congratulations. Lori Sands, thank you for making those of us with no teaching experience at all feel like we might possibly survive 692. Michael Crumpton, thank you for showing me that the things I was most scared of in this field aren't actually that scary after all. Heather Moorfield Lang, thank you for showing us all the correct way to conduct an online class. It's not that the other professors are bad at it, but you are a virtuoso of the form. My one regret in this entire program is taking 635 in the summer because that is just too short for a Heather Moorfield Lang class. April Dawkins, thank you for introducing me to one of my heroes. Somehow I had gone 36 whole years without having ever read anything by Ursula K. Le Guin, and now she's my favorite author thanks to your class. She was a priceless national treasure, and I had no idea. Also, how do you find so many books so often and all of them so good? I know we're all librarians and that's our job, but that's next level. And as a side note, on behalf of school and youth librarians everywhere, please never stop publishing those lists online. Finally, Tammy Brewer, what could I possibly say about you that could begin to do justice to the amazing job that you do? I'm pretty sure that the entire university would collapse into a heap of rubble without the sheer force of your will holding it up. Thank you for everything and then some. If I haven't mentioned you by name, that doesn't mean you aren't amazing. It just means that I haven't directly experienced your amazingness. So to my fellow graduates, I humbly request that if I haven't mentioned somebody who's been amazing to you, please reach out to them and thank them for it. I used to be a healthcare practitioner, and the vast majority of my clients would show up for a few sessions, and then they would disappear, and I'd never hear from them again. Mostly, I had to hope that the reason for that was that they got better and just didn't need to see me anymore. But I was never entirely sure. However, once or twice a year, I'd suddenly get a postcard from one of the people who had disappeared, thanking me for my work and telling me that I had helped them get better. And every time that happened, I would be walking on air for a month. So please help your LIS faculty and staff to walk on air for a while. All right, so let's do the actual speech part. I am not the kind of person who tries to bring up 9/11 all the time. I'm really not. But my son was actually born on the 20th anniversary of the attacks. He was born on September 11th, 2021. So I've been thinking about it for a fair bit, for better or worse. But I don't want to talk about the attacks themselves. I want to talk about the aftermath in that atmosphere of nationalism and paranoia and thirst for revenge. Many of us remember when expressing reasonable doubts about the president's actions were widely considered to be treasonous hatred of America. And many of us remember when huge crowds gathered in towns all over the country, including my hometown, to publicly destroy their Dixie Chicks CDs. It was a very weird time. And I bring this up because it was the first time that librarians had entered my consciousness as anything other than mild-mannered custodians of books. I saw a news report about librarians across the US refusing to turn over their patrons' records to the FBI in defiance of the hastily passed Patriot Act. That news report profoundly reshaped the way I saw the world. I was being told that they hate us for our freedoms, at the same time that I was being told that I needed to sacrifice those freedoms for my safety. And librarians were the first people I was aware of who stood up and said, no, that's a false choice. Librarians stood up and defended my freedoms. And they did so at unknown levels of risk to themselves and careers. And that's when I thought to myself, wow, librarians are heroes. Well, my friends and colleagues, I am very sad to say that it looks like it's time for us to be heroes again. As much as I desperately wish that I could make this speech a completely happy one, I can't. We are, after all, not living in completely happy times, and I am, for better or worse, the kind of guy who walks into a room and says, completely oblivious, "Hey, what's that elephant doing in here?" So I will be blunt. The book burners are coming. They've already arrived at some places, with legislators in Virginia openly advocating for the burning of books. In my home state of Texas, we have state legislators demanding that school librarians turn over data on lists of questionable books, and the governor calling for the removal of books that might make students uncomfortable. I'm sure we've all seen the videos of contentious school board meetings in which history books and stories are challenged due to the boogeyman of critical race theory. In Florida, one school board member has even filed a criminal complaint over the book Boys Aren't Blue being on a school shelf. And it's easy and tempting to dismiss these incidents as isolated or the ravings of a few crackpots. But across the country, book challenges are up by over 60% as part of an organized political strategy, primarily targeting titles dealing with racism and LGBTQ subjects. And the end goal of that strategy seems obvious, and it has been used over and over again in other areas of formerly public life. School and public libraries will be crippled by budget cuts, if they haven't been already, until they can no longer function. Those cuts will then be combined with a moral panic, currently in progress, and used as an excuse to completely privatize schools and libraries. And if that happens, the loss to the American people will be immeasurable. If you want a preview of that strategy taken to its end stage, you need only look at American prisons. Some of the highlights: charities, family members, other outside entities are banned from donating books. Used books are banned. Book sharing is banned. Books must be bought new from a few approved vendors and are subject to a laundry list of arbitrary and nonsensical restrictions, which effectively removes 90% of books from consideration. Prisoners who are paid 25 cents an hour have to spend $20 for a new book, or they can get a free e-reader that actually charges users a per-minute fee to read them. This must not happen in our school and public libraries. Toni Morrison noted in a talk with Angela Davis, it's on YouTube, check it out, it's really good, that nowhere else but America can you find a library in every town and every school, even really remote rural areas. And that's been backed up by my international experience. No place has libraries like America does. We as a people possess a priceless treasure that nobody else has, and that treasure is under direct and purposeful threat. Our queer kids and our Black and brown kids need stories about themselves, and all of our kids, no matter their race, religion, or sexuality, need stories about people who are different from them. I need those stories. I need them because I am a straight, white, able-bodied, cisgender man, and without those stories, I cannot understand my neighbors who are not those things. I need them because as a straight, white, able-bodied, cisgender man, I know that many Black, brown, queer, and disabled people do not feel safe telling me their stories directly. I have to earn their trust, and paying attention to their stories can help me do that. I need those stories because stories are how we understand each other, how we teach each other, how we learn from each other, and they are the foundation upon which we stand to lift each other up. My blonde, blue-eyed son needs these stories so that when he grows up, he won't have to give himself remedial education on the humanity of his fellow beings the way I've had to do. And who knows, it's too early to tell, but he might be one of those queer kids whose existence some people are working so hard to deny and suppress, and whose stories they are trying to take away. These stories, which are currently under attack, are how we tell our children that we see them, that we value them, and that we love them. To paraphrase the great Jason Reynolds in a recent conversation with Stephen Colbert, if our kids lose access to these stories at school or the library, we cannot assume that there's a $20 bill lying around for them to go buy it somewhere else. We cannot assume that there is a bookstore in their community, even if they do have $20. We can't assume that they have internet access to order it off Amazon, access to an e-reader, or even access to electricity to charge the batteries. And so it's time for librarians to be heroes again. It's time for me to stand up and defend the freedoms of others, just like mine were defended 20 years ago by librarians that I never met. We must stand up and say no. And it'll be hard because we have already lost a lot of ground. But I know that we can do it. And I know this because knowledge is power, and we are librarians. We are the guardians of knowledge, and that makes us mighty. So earlier, I promised you an inspiring speech written by somebody else, and here it is. There's a wonderful book called The Wave in the Mind by Ursula K. Le Guin. Once again, Dr. Dawkins, cannot thank you enough for her. I have it here on my e-reader, borrowed from the library, of course. It's a collection of essays and speeches written by that great lady. And one of the chapters is a speech that she gave to commemorate the renovation of the Multnomah County Library in Portland, Oregon. I would like to close my speech with her words because I couldn't find any better. A great library is freedom, plunging into the ocean of words, roaming the broad fields of the mind, climbing the mountains of the imagination. That was my freedom. That was my joy, and it still is. That joy must not be sold. It must not be privatized and made into another privilege for the privileged. That freedom must not be compromised. It must be available to all who need it, and that's everyone, when they need it, and that's always. Thank you.
Nick, for you to assert that you don't know how to inspire is just inaccurate. That was profoundly inspiring. Thank you. Amen and amen. We really appreciate you taking the time to do that. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Laquanda Oyamay is a training and consulting partner at ProQuest, and her primary responsibility is to educate customers on a wide array of their digital technologies. She is also co-founder and executive director of WOC Plus Lib, which is a place for women of color and people of color to express their innovative ideas, create community, create critiques, and share professional and personal experiences. She is also the owner of She Creates Tech, a web design and instructional technology agency. She was a 2017-2018 Spectrum Scholar, and I'm very proud to say a graduate of our program. And on a personal level, I would like to say that Laquanda lights up every room that she's in, and she is just a force of energy. So I'm so delighted that she's agreed to take her time out to come here and speak with us today. Thank you, Laquanda.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate just being here, and I was very inspired what Nick had to say, and so thank you, Nick, for that great speech. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I want to say thank you to the Library and Information Science Department for having me. Thank you to Dean Lisa O'Connor, the faculty and staff. Thank you, Dr. Nora, for the invitation, for inviting me to speak here today. I also want to say thank you to the family and friends here to support the class of 2021. All right. It is an honor to be here. To be the 2021 commencement speaker for this year is such an honor. This program is a great program. Actually, it's the best I have attended. You can take my word for it. I have attended many, #lifelong learner. Before I get started, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you all. Listen, you all have made it. Yes, this is absolutely real. All right, you have completed your degree. You can take a moment and just acknowledge the circumstances you made it through, the pandemic, working, internships, completing papers and projects, and just dealing with life. Listen, you did it. So type in the chat, I did it, and blow it up with some emojis, because it's time to recognize all the hard work you have done through these 2 years. All right, type in I did it. I want to definitely see it. You managed to complete your degree through unprecedented times. But hey, we are Spartans, right? And that's how we do, right? But all seriousness, you have accomplished this major milestone during this time. UNC Greensboro has afforded me unwavering community that I can only dream of. I want you to know that you have one too. I came to UNC Greensboro nearly 5 years ago during a pivotal time in my life. I just decided to leave law school, a place that I prayed to be, moved across several state lines to be. I was taking a chance and a leap of faith to go after my why, as many as you have done and continue to do in order to achieve this degree. Along the way, in my journey, I picked up a couple gems that I want to share with you to help you navigate your own endeavors. All right, so let's get started. So these are the top gems I have picked to talk about today. This is not an exhaustive list, but I think that this can definitely lend to help you get you on your way. This afternoon, I would like to share what has helped me along my journey, instill tenacity, strength, and encouragement to pursue my goals and dreams. So I'm hoping my story can do the same for you. So things I discovered along the way was community, rejection is for the protection, self-awareness and reflection, and remember your why. Community. I am a UNCG LIS alumni of 2018. Nearly 5 years ago, my journey began with the UNCG LIS community. Before being in this program, I gained community from UNCG LIS alumni. Before I even visited the campus, even learned about this program, it was 2 great librarians, my librarians, who helped pave the way for me when I was a law student. They introduced me to librarianship. They helped instill courage and confidence, boost me up. Like, yes, this is so you. I can totally see you doing this. Even though I felt inside that I couldn't. I was at my lowest point in my life before entering into the MILS program. I was a law student. Have you ever heard of 1L? Just Google it, watch snippets. We can email about it, definitely. I made it to my 2nd year. However, my heart, my spirit, my soul felt like, should you even be here? Have you ever felt like this with something, or is this just me? Like, I knew I wasn't going to be a mathematician. My mind, my soul, my body let me know early on in calculus class, nope, this ain't it. But as I digress, my spirit let me know it was time to transition and it was okay. I can say this now. However, we all know the process of discovering something isn't for you, isn't always great. Sometimes we force it, we push it, we want to make it stick. We feel like we have to finish it, and if we don't, we're a failure. I felt like I had so much on the line. I would tell myself, I'm supposed to be an attorney. How many times have you told yourself that you're supposed to be something? However, I had community, you know, that ride or die, that consisted of UNCG LIS alumni, the faculty, the staff. The UNCG LIS department, I'm talking about you. My community was able to help lift me up when I couldn't lift myself up externally and internally. Your community may look different. There isn't one type of community. It may be virtual, faith-based. It may be surrounded by a particular interest. But at UNCG, I learned that you have community. You don't have to do anything spectacular. You just have one. A group of people who's readily looking out for you and willing to assist, be there, be a reference for you, Dr. Norbert. Hold on to that. Keep that during your journey. If you feel like you haven't found your community, listen, you have at least one. Hey, I'm here. If you're nervous about taking a leap of faith and starting your own community, when you begin, others will join you. I'm telling you. UNCG has been a place for me, and I know it has for you to establish community. Virtually or in person, it has always lent itself to assist me in my learning, opportunities, meet, greet people who allow me to just be, make mistakes, ask questions, experiment, pilot, just like you have in the UNCG LIS program. My digital platform I helped co-create, WC Plus Live, was founded here in UNCG grounds when they were hosting the Library Diversity Conference. There is where I was able to build a community with other librarians who look like me, allowing me to expand my community. Now this platform, WC Plus Live, contributes in building community for many Black, Indigenous, people of color in the profession, librarians, students, staff, volunteers, through building and establishing community. One of my founding members is a UNCG alumni. Again, community. As a new 2021 LIS graduate, you will begin navigating and personalizing your own journey. You'll begin to settle on who you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to go. I want you to know that you have unwavering community here who has vowed to be there to assist you along the way. I encourage you to tap into those names you see on the screen, the ones that you've been replying to discussion posts all year long, and continue to do so after today, along your pursuits, because you'll be amazed at what you find. A community who understands and gets the process that you're experiencing as an LIS graduate. Another thing I learned on this journey is rejection is for your protection. As new graduates, you'll be faced with rejection, and it doesn't mean you're unable to do the job. It just wasn't for you. I experienced rejection the moment I got to UNCG. I applied and interviewed for the LIS graduateship, but I didn't get it. Was I hurt a little? Did I base my value on not getting that position at the time? Possibly. You see the suspense building, right? However, the rejection was the best thing that could have happened to me. I was able to land a position at the Teaching Resource Center, best place on earth. A classmate told me about this position, again, community, which ended up turning into a graduateship anyway. The Teaching Resource Center was the best thing that could happen to me because it was a small library. There I was able to learn multiple roles, work in the makerspace, take an inventory on books and equipment, training students and teachers on equipment. I was able to meet and work with so many student teachers, learn more about education, teaching, and technology. I made long-lasting relationships and found an amazing mentor who I coined my library mom, who helped me through many transitions in the career. Due to rejection of the LIS graduateship, I was even able to work part-time as a substitute teacher, further developing my skills and my experience. I say this to say that you may have experienced rejection your time here, an opportunity, you applied for a job, internship, but hopefully you learned that opportunity wasn't truly meant for you. Along the years, I learned to go about rejection in a positive and optimistic way, and I hope you will as well. I experienced it, so I want to let you know when you don't get that very first position you apply for, it doesn't mean that you're not awesome, because you are. It does not mean like that you are worthless. It may mean it's not the right time and another opportunity is meant for you. You may have to go through a detour to get where you need to be. Listen, I know it's easier said than done. I was sitting in your spot and all I can focus on was, I need to be able to pay my rent. I need a permanent position. So yes, rejection is real. And again, it does not feel good, but it's about how you look at the particular rejection. As you navigate through your own personalized journey, just remember, rejection is for your protection. Rejection guides you into new opportunities. I have to stop and tell myself, to this day, I am not resolved and absolved from rejection, but I take the L's and I strive. As a LIS 2021 graduate, I know that you will too. Which leads me to my next point, self-awareness and reflection. Self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, your thoughts, or emotions do and do not align with your internal standards. Wow, younger me did not know anything about this. I'm glad I learned so I can share it with you all, right? Being in this program prepared me to be more self-aware, just like I know it has done for you. I received an opportunity to learn what I didn't like. I finally had the opportunity to stop and be present, try it and be okay with saying, this isn't my path. Like I knew off the bat that I wasn't going to be a cataloger, and that's okay. Sorry, future and current catalogers. I mean, it wasn't me. I learned I don't have to force what does not come naturally or internalize myself as a failure at it. Having this skill will help you navigate many challenges and situations in your life. UNCG afforded me the opportunity to explore and just be. And I know it has done the same for you. Trust and believe. It doesn't mean you know everything right now, because you don't. Self-awareness and reflection teaches you that it's okay. At first, I had no self-awareness. I was going so fast that I didn't stop and ask myself, why are we doing this? Do we even like this? Do you ever have a talk with yourself in the car, at home, in the bathroom mirror? No, just me. All right. As a UNCG LIS student, I was everywhere. I interned for everything. Somehow I made it work. Along the way, I had the space and opportunity to establish self-awareness and reflection. This process allowed me to be okay with trying new things and being okay to say, this may not be my thing, or I may suck at it, but I like it, so I'm going to keep doing it and master it. Self-awareness and reflection helped me realize that I wanted to experience more training in several areas of librarianship, which helped me repurpose my goal and land a library residency at Texas A&M University. There, I was able to discover that I actually like training and consulting and solving many problems for all the departments in the library. I know being in this program has given you an opportunity to establish and strengthen your self-awareness skills. You're walking away with a better awareness about what you want and what you don't want. After completing your courses and capstones, you had an opportunity to reflect and say, I really enjoyed this project, this course, this learning experience. Hold on to that. On this journey, you might find yourself wanting to go fast or slow, with wanting to accomplish certain goals, landing a certain job. Always take a moment to practice self-awareness and reflect, which leads me to my next point. Remember your why. If you don't know your why right now, that's okay. This is a safe place. Let this be a signal to go home and get a piece of paper and brainstorm and write it down. Everyone's why looks different. Sometimes it's not to save the world. It's to put you and your family in a better position financially. Maybe it's a goal because you are the first person to gain a graduate degree, and that's your why. My why was to help and guide people to become lifelong learners through information and digital literacy. Your why is significant to you and only you. I know you all quickly learned that your why wasn't because you like books and you want to read them. I bet by the first syllabus you received in research methods, you quickly realized that wasn't the case. Your why can and will change over time. And that's okay. It's because you have community that will support you through those changes. You know that rejection is for your protection and you will be guided to new and different opportunities. You have been afforded with self-awareness and you take time to reflect routinely, allowing you to align with your why or know when something is or isn't your why. Y'all see how I lined it up? All seriousness though, you have all the tools you need. You have the ability to find information and learn new things. As a newly LIS 2021 graduate, you have the ability to land your next position, start a business, take a non-librarian traditional role like me, or take a newly created librarian role. You have it. Most importantly, you have a UNCG LIS community that will stick behind you and support you on your own personalized journey. We got that Spartan behavior. Because we are your community. I want to say thank you for having me and congratulations to the class of 2021. I know you will go and do great things. I'm especially proud to be a part of your community. Thank you for listening and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Laquanda. As Dr. O'Connor said, we are so proud that you are a member of our community, a graduate of the LIS program here, and I'm really glad you made your way into my office that day, and we were able to get you to these next steps, and thank you for sharing your wisdom. For these new graduates, it's a difficult time. Yeah. I think some of your points will be especially important to remember as you're going through the next few months. So thank you, Laquanda.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask Tammy to talk about how to continue to be part of our community through becoming active as an alum in the program. So go ahead, Tammy.
Well, first off, I'd like to say welcome and congratulations to our graduates and welcome to our UNCG LIS alumni family. We're so glad that you are a part of that and ready to go on to next steps. We hope that you're proud to be a part of this family, and we want to support you even after graduation in any way that we can. And as we shared earlier, we have a way to keep in touch with us. Of course, I can't copy the link right now. But we want you to, if you have any questions about how to do that, we have that on this one place that you can join everything Lisa talked about before, everything from Facebook to Instagram. And the one thing she didn't mention was LinkedIn. Make sure you update that LinkedIn account to include the UNC Greensboro-LIS department so that we can connect with our alumni. We may want to put an intern in your particular library or in your program. So we want to say thank you. You'll also note that there's a pin here somewhere on the screen. And these pins we try to mail out. Sometimes it takes more than one semester to get them together. We have to have so many before we mail them. But we hope you wear that with pride and come see us at the next conference that might be in your local area, so that we can give you some special alumni swag. We always look forward to meeting and greeting with you. We also have, and if you haven't checked it out, it's been very busy lately, guys, but we also have a message board that parents and family, those of you who are here today, please feel free to click on that and put a little message here for your graduate. We're very proud that they're here. We're very proud of all of the hard work that they've done. And we want you to have an opportunity to say how proud you are of them as well. So you can tell we've had quite a few people busy posting and saying congratulations. So if you as graduates, if you haven't checked out this board, you may have some messages just for you. So take some time and check that out and read the messages from your family. And those of you who our family that have just come in and joined us, and maybe you didn't get the link, we put the link in the chat box. So we look forward to hearing from you. We have one or two things just to tell you before Dr. Bird lists all of our graduates today. And that is what we kind of are going to allow to happen during this time, or kind of celebrate with everyone. So you have a few tools on your screen. You'll notice there's the share video screen. There's the participant screen, the chat box, and the reactions. We would love for you to unmute your video, unmute your microphone when your family member is called, and give a little shout out. Shake your hands, be excited. It's even okay if you give them a great shout out, because that's the excitement that we have on this graduation season. Many of us were at the graduation where we walked this morning, and we always love to hear the parents and family get excited for your graduate. So we'll have a few seconds for each person as Dr. Bird lists their name. And so feel free to do both of those. Just remember to mute yourself when you're finished. Dr. Bird, it's in your hands. I think you're muted.
We have a slide for every graduate, whether you are here or not. But we are very happy that some of you were able to come this evening and spend some time with us. So I will read the names, not nearly as well as the gentleman at the UNCG main graduation, who has done it for at least the 14 years that I have been a faculty member, and he just does it very smoothly. But I will do my best to live up to the tradition of reading the names very well. And I'm sorry I don't have a diploma to hand you. I should say to you that it does take some time for that print document to come to you in the mail. So give it at least a month to 6 weeks before you actually see it, because especially in these strange mailing times, and also because of the holidays, it will take a little while before that actually comes. I signed off on all your graduation clearances, so there is no reason for you not to receive your diploma in the mail unless there's something I don't know about. So if you don't see it in 6 to 8 weeks, do send me an email, and just kind of ask. So here we are, our congratulations to the class of 2021. Stacy Ann Amundsen. Derek Lee Barefoot. Marissa Hunt Bateman. Jessica Marie Best. Erica Danielle Boardman. Emma Leonide Moser Bornstein. Nicholas Aaron Bowden. Bridget Bowman. Sorry, I just lost my screen for a second there. Jesse Lee Bowman. Valerie Capel Burns. Melissa Sue Chalua. Monica Lynn Conforto. Austin Joseph Craver. Kelly Ann Cunningham. Chadwick S. Danevsky. Mariana Duran.
Yay! Bravo! Bravo, Mariana!
Sarah Joy Edmonds. Emily Emerson. Ashton Elizabeth Bondville. Colleen Marie Foy. Amanda Kelly Gardner.
Clink, 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 clink.
Rebecca Jean George. Jessica Carol Hathcock. Crystal Blow Hawks. Tamara Corrier Hicks. John Matthew Hill. Laurel M. Holden. Amy Mullins Holly. Brandy Honeycutt. Cassidy Nicole Jolly.
It's me.
Zoe Yay. Katie Marie Krisiak. Sandy Thang Koo. Ashley Lanier Tucker. Mark Kenyon Lee. Midoriya Chanta Linster.
Yay, Midori!
DeKendrick Alec Livingston. Yay. Heather Peg McLam. Yolanda Newhouse. Carrie Elizabeth O'Hearn.
Congrats, Carrie. Thank you.
Sydney Olivia Orison. Kirsten Rayborn. Karanda Royster Herring. Suzanne Sawyer. Justin Thomas Shannon. Yay, Justin. Yi Shen.
Yeah.
Rachel Lee Schrader. Kelly Jo Stewart. Yay. Margaret Ann Kathleen Sturdivant. Danielle Norre Tallman. Leonard Winston Tran. Jeremy Michael Tucker. Allison Michelle White. Marsha Elizabeth Wingard. Joanna Palmer Wright. Adrian Michael Zeck. And I don't see Yen Zhu. But Yen is graduating. Hi, Yen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, well, I officially declare you all alumni. I know it's a very busy time of year, and so we're grateful that you took this time out to celebrate with us and that you gave us a chance to celebrate you and your accomplishments. And thank you for coming. We will now break up into rooms, and you can visit with faculty if you'd like, and I'll let Tammy, do you have further instructions for that?
I do. I'll walk you right through that. So don't forget, parents and family, please feel free to leave a message for your graduate and your family on the message board, and we'll share that link with you again. And this is how we will do the breakout rooms. So all of the instructors have been given a link to take them to a separate Zoom room. So you will close the current Zoom room that you're in, and you can visit one of these 4 Zoom rooms, and you can actually come and go from all of them. So from this one PDF, it will open for you in a Google Doc that's a PDF. And so that you can then click on each one of the rooms to visit your professors. So we'll let our professors go and say, thank you very much for all of your hard work and everything that you've done. And we'll let them go ahead and get established in their Zoom rooms, and then we will let you go. So just briefly, don't forget just a few things. First off, your message board for the family members that are here. Secondly, we want to say congratulations, and we're very proud that you've been a part of our program. So again, if you have any questions, I'll stay here for just a few minutes, and we will be glad to walk you through that if you have any questions. But other than that, you have a great evening, and it's been wonderful to have you in our program.